Hello and welcome to National Khabar. I'm Shweta Ranjan, and on the special occasion of International Yoga Day and World Music Day, we have a special episode designed for you. Yes, live concert from Copenhagen and Delhi. Jazz meets Indian heritage. And on the special episode of World Music Day, we have with us Lars Møller joining us from Denmark, one of the finest saxophonists of the world. Lars has stayed in India for many prolonged periods, assimilating Indian classical music under guidance of his gurus, Pandit Anant Lal and Pandit Daya Shankar. Welcome to the show, Lars. Let the viewers see you first. Yes, you are here.
Hey, how are you? Thank you so much, Rita.
Can I introduce the other two artists as well?
Yes, please do.
Also, we have with us Thor Madsen on the show. He's with his guitar, a highly popular performer in both Europe and USA, and Jonas Johansen on drums with 35 years of experience and top-level performance with more than 175 albums to his credit. Deep knowledge of the jazz tradition and ability to fluently incorporate inspiration from Latin America, Turkey, Spain, Africa, and India. I welcome three of you, the Jazz Explorer trio, Lars Møller, to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting us. We are very proud to be able to perform for this Indian audience again. And we'd like to play some music first, the trio, and then a very dear friend and great artist, Sanjeev Shankar on Shehnai, will join us a little later. We'd like to start out with a few trio compositions first, and this is the first one is called Blues in 5 and is a composition of mine. Thank you so much.
Definitely. Looking forward. Oh my God, mind blowing, seriously. Too good, too good. Lars,
Thank you so much.
we just want the music to go on. Nothing else to talk, nothing else to talk.
Well, we're definitely having fun here in Copenhagen. I hope you're enjoying this in India.
Yes, definitely. And we have viewers writing and they're enjoying the show. I want the viewers to please keep writing so that we are motivated to do better. And I would like to include some of the queries if you have. Also, please like National Khabar page. And before we start with the conversation, I want to thank our concept partners first. We have JMD Global Foundation with us. And it supports and promotes Indian classical art, culture, dance forms across the globe. And I would also like to thank Danish Culture Institute for being the concept partner. And also I would like to thank Lions Club International, District 322E, which has supported us to bring this fabulous episode together. So let's get back to Lars. And Lars, if you're able to hear me, how did you get motivated towards Indian classical music? What, not only saxophone, I believe you saw a poster with a boy with a saxophone and you got inclined to learn. And also later on towards Indian classical music. How did the association happen?
The reason I started being interested in Indian classical music, studying the ragas, was that I learned that in Indian music tradition, you study the emotions as methodical as we study mathematics in the West. So I was lucky to meet my teachers and be able to go to New Delhi in the early 90s. What's striking about Indian music, and one of the reasons it's influenced jazz, is that it has a highly focused emotional expression. And perhaps you can say that this next piece is borrowing a little bit from the idea of an emotional focus in the music. It's a composition by our guitar player, Thor Madsen, and it's called A Woman's Purse.
Oh. Yes. Can you hear me, Lars?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yes. So, listening to jazz, we have a viewer asking he has a query. Dinesh Vaidya asked us what are the different formats in jazz. I have heard a name smooth jazz.
Jazz is as diverse as Indian curries, masalas. There are so every country has its own style, its own mix of different ingredients. In Denmark, we play with a lot of influence from American jazz, and then we also have some influence from our own folk music. The term smooth jazz is perhaps something that is associated with some type, for me, that is associated with radio late at night music that creates a certain relaxed atmosphere. And you could perhaps say that this next tune, I mean, if we can move on to a tune by Jonas Johansen, it's a little smooth.
Certainly.
And actually, Jonas, he's a very smooth drummer.
Of course.
And he has, you can see he has brushes. If you can,
I actually saw that. It looks different. Yes.
Yeah. So those usually the drummer plays sticks, but if you want a very soft, relaxed, balanced, smooth sound, then you can play on brushes. So we are trying to play a waltz that is a little smooth.
Okay.
And used to say it's not quite a waltz because it's actually in 5 beats. So it's a waltz with a little bit of a twist.
Definitely.
And the tune is called Mosse.
Simply brilliant, very, very nice. I just love all the three compositions that you presented, Lars. And seeing Jonas, I got so inspired that I immediately went and bought these. Can you see these?
Okay. That's very nice.
I have a drummer at home.
Okay, that's good. That's very nice.
So, anyways, it's the time when we should call our special guest for the evening.
Yes.
Very renowned Shehnai-player Sanjeev Shankar. I would like to extend a warm welcome to him. Sanjeev ji, hi, how are you?
नमस्कार, I'm very good. Hi Lars.
नमस्कार, आप कैसे हैं?
मैं बिल्कुल बढ़िया हूँ.
ठीक है.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है. So both of you, आप दोनों ने तो पहले भी बहुत काम किया. Lars, can you understand now?
मेरा हिंदी अच्छा नहीं है.
नहीं है?
अच्छा नहीं है.
Since you both have collaborated and worked a lot together, meeting on the World Music Day, how does this feel and what do you want to tell the viewers? Sanjeev ji, can we start with you?
Yes, I was in Copenhagen at the time, and I met Lars, but we knew each other for a very, very long time because he was coming to India and staying in India for a very long time and learning from my grandfather and my father. So I was in Copenhagen, and that day, all of a sudden, we just decided that we'll do something together. So in a church, I think it was a church. Lars, am I right?
Yes.
So in a church, we did it, and it was kind of a meditative music that we played together, and it was just two of us, Lars on saxophone and I on Shehnai.
Yes, as you mentioned before, I was extremely fortunate to be able to study with one of the greatest musical families in India, which is Sanjeev Shankar's family, and his father Daya Shankar and his grandfather Anant Lal. And so you could say today that jazz has been heavily influenced by Indian classical music in many, many ways. But what you perhaps don't realize is that the saxophone sound really comes from the Shehnai. The way the saxophone is played and sound today is very influenced by a saxophone player called John Coltrane. And John Coltrane, he got his sound from Bismillah Khan, and you could say that I got my sound from Anant Lal and Daya Shankar. So perhaps fittingly now we'd like to give this sound back to the Shehnai. So we'll play a composition by John Coltrane, and this was a raga that Ravi Shankar, also Sanjeev's guru, showed John Coltrane in the 50s. At least that's what Ravi Shankar once told me. I'm very proud that he told me this personally. Anyhow, but this raga is called Durga, and so we'd like to play the jazz version, and then we'd like to invite Sanjeev in for this, and see if we can make him feel comfortable. And if you're not comfortable, then my apologies. Okay.
But I would like to add one thing here.
Yeah.
That about 10 years ago, I was in Delhi. Ravi Coltrane, the son of John Coltrane, came, and he was visiting Guruji in his center, Grandpa, and I was fortunate to jam with him actually. So me and Ravi Coltrane, we played together, and we've been friends since then.
Yes. So let's have a glimpse of.
So we'd like to start out with some archetypical jazz stuff. This is the saxophone and the drums playing duo, and then we join with Sanjeev.
Yeah.
That was brilliant, Sanjeev ji. It is
Thank
a
you.
brilliant display of how jazz and Indian classical music, they can merge together, blend so beautifully, blend so nicely. So what are the elements from Lars, I would like to know, that the jazz has adopted or is influenced or is adopted, taken from Indian classical music?
Yes. First of all, the idea of playing on one scale that is, or you could say one raga for a long time, just staying with this, getting deeper and deeper into the music, that was one element that really influenced jazz quite heavily. And then the energy that, you know, when you go to a concert with, say, Zakir Hussain and Ravi Shankar, then you build the energy over so long time. It gets more and more intense. And then also there's the intricacies of the rhythmic elements. In Indian classical music, you have a lot of different mathematics in the music, the tihais and different elements. And that has influenced jazz quite heavily.
That's true.
And you could say that this, if the next piece that we have prepared for you is a little bit an example of trying to capture a morning rag, Gujari Todi, and also have a few rhythmic elements from Indian music. And if you allow, then Sanjeev and I can start with a little bit of the traditional, just a short taste of the traditional alap, and then we go into our version of the Rupak Tal, the 7-beat cycle, and then we make a little bit of interchange between the band and Sanjeev soloing on some of the music.
Definitely. So दर्शकों को मैं बता दूं कि ये राग तोड़ी का presentation आप देखने वाले हैं, और वो कैसे रूपक में शिफ्ट होता है आलाप के बाद. It's a beautiful blend. आप देखिए and enjoy the music.
Okay.
Lars Møller, Teen Jazz Explorer Trio, and Sanjeev Shankar.
Okay.
What a beautiful presentation of how Indian classical music has influenced the other genres of music. And it's time when we have to say bye to Thor Madsen, the guitarist, since he has some very important work. So he has to wrap up. Thor, thank you for being on the show.
He's the camera.
Yeah. So we will continue with the other artists of the day. And I would like to include one message here. We have Preeti Sharma with us. She's one of the directors of JNB Global Foundation, and she writes congratulations and thanks for Jazz Evening. Thank you, Preeti, for watching the show and being so involved. And we have other viewers who are writing that Lars is more Indian than Danish.
I used to say, I sometimes say that India is my second home, and it's probably the country that I've been to the most in my life outside Denmark. That is true. And then I'm fortunate enough to, you could say that I have my Indian family. Sanjeev is definitely a brother to me.
And now we are also there.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Okay, so does India still call you for more, learning more of Indian classical music? Anything left that you want to just gather and incorporate in your music?
Oh, it's such a vast. There's so much that you can learn. It's at least not enough for many, many lifetimes. So even if, yeah, so I'm still studying the ragas and trying to get into the expression and inner depth of Indian music. I'm constantly fascinated by this.
संजीव जी, जो दर्शक नहीं जुड़े हुए हैं इंडियन क्लासिकल म्यूजिक से, those who are not a part of really Indian classical music, they enjoy listening to it just. So for them, there's a question: how does the two genres of music collaborate? How does it happen? How does it work?
The thing is, I think the music is the common language between all the cultures of the world. If you don't even understand the language that you speak, but through music we can connect better. So it doesn't matter what kind of music the other person is playing. It can be flamenco or Celtic or jazz or rock or pop or reggae, whatever kind of music people represent. But somehow they can mix it with any other genre, and it becomes a common language for two different people who believe in different things, and their liking are different. Like, say for jazz, Lars has been studying Indian music for so long, but he's actually a jazz player. But since he was interested, so he inculcated and included the Indian music in a way that jazz becomes so much Indian, and it becomes like the Indian. Yeah, tell me. Yeah, please.
Perhaps Jonas would like to say something.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Also, actually, I believe strongly that the whole birth of what we call jazz is actually also Indian influenced, because it's a melting pot. Jazz is a melting pot, like Lars said earlier, like a masala. It's a mix of a lot of things that made this. That's called jazz. So, for instance, we were in India and somebody asked us to play some pure jazz, and we had to. I have to say that doesn't exist. It's not pure to begin with. It's a bastard. It's a mix of African, French, Indian, Arabic, North African, Spanish, and German music that makes the sound of jazz. So actually we are coming from the same pond, I think.
Yeah. Certainly. So people here are asking for a true Danish composition.
Okay. Well, we have one. Maybe we can do this with the three of us. It's a composition. It has to do with skies. It's a little theme that I composed that you could say is a little Danish, but we'll express it in an Indian way. And you could say today we may call it Copenhagen Delhi skies. And I should say that these times are very special, and I'm thinking a lot about all the people I know in India and the situation with the health and Corona is getting slowly better in Copenhagen, but I know that India is it's a big country with many victims. So I'd just like to say that I'd like to dedicate this piece to everybody in India who are suffering right now. Mm-hmm. So perhaps we can play it. You could say it's a nice little naive melody, but perhaps we can make something out of it. Yeah. And Sanjeev, why don't you turn on the drone, the shooty box a little bit, just slightly? Then we have a little bit.
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay. Sanjeev. Okay, no, never mind.
In between, I would like to include a comment we have from Amitabh Chaudhary. He is a district governor, Lions Club International, the world's #1 NGO. So he's watching the show, District 322E, and he writes awesome. He's enjoying, and there are many other viewers who are waiting for. Somebody writes Tivoli plus Taj. What is that? Tivoli plus Taj. Okay, I am unable to understand this. No issue. Okay, Sanjeev is here. Let us.
Okay.
Is it fine?
Maybe a little lower. Little lower.
Is that fine?
Now this is just not in our. Yes, this is fine.
Okay. So now we'd like to try to play New Delhi, Copenhagen Skies.
That was so mesmerizing, brilliant. I had a question while I was watching Lars perform. Since you have come to India many times to incorporate and learn a bit of Indian classical music, and you've done it beautifully. But while being with your guru and Sanjeev ji, you must have tried to play the Shehnai as well. Did you try that?
That's true.
Yes.
I realized when I started studying the music that that you cannot really play all the bends and the slides that you can play on the Shehnai. It's not possible to play on the saxophone. So I started playing Shehnai and I studied it for some years. Then I got to a certain point where I realized, okay, I could perhaps learn this if I spent 15,000 hours. But I realized that perhaps I should try to see if I could take a little bit of this sound or put it into the saxophone. But it's true, if you want to get really into something deeply, then you go as far as you can on the instrument that is the most expressive. And in this case, of course, it was Shehnai.
So you found Shehnai tougher, shall I say that?
Say again, please.
Shall I say that you found Shehnai a little tougher than playing saxophone?
Definitely. Sanjeev's grandfather, he always said, "Oh, Shehnai, very difficult to charge." Okay.
So, for the viewers, this question comes because they want to know a lot about you also, Lars.
Yes, please.
How did your first interaction with music happen? Because you belong to a family of musicians, that there was music already, or you just happened?
My mother plays a little bit of piano, but otherwise it was actually, I saw a poster in school of a saxophone and I thought it looked nice. And so I started playing saxophone, and then my father's brother took me to hear some jazz concerts, and I realized the saxophone was really mostly fully exposed in jazz. The saxophone has really developed the most inside jazz. That's why I play jazz, you could say.
You thought seeing the poster it looked nice, or you thought it looks cool?
Perhaps more cool than nice.
Since you worked a lot with Lars, so any fond memory you have of working with him, and how naughty he can be, how any good memories or anything about Lars that you want to share?
There's so many memories actually, because like when he used to come, he was very, very young, and I was also young at that time. And he used to live 2 doors away from our house. So every morning he used to come and have breakfast with us, and then my grandfather used to teach him. But breakfast was the focus of the day. If you remember, Lars.
Yes, I remember very much. Yes.
My aunt, Seema Raikwad, she used to make some fried eggs, and
she's there today. She's there. She's writing. She has written something.
Okay.
So, Namaskar Boji. So she used to like cook the food, and at that time in the morning, and then she used to go to the college.
Yeah.
But
I'm very grateful for the food and the music and everything, the hospitality, everything.
No, but food-wise, did you like the taste, Indian taste, and
yes,
how different it was? Did you find it difficult to?
Yes, I really love the Indian food, and I love the food of the family. But I also have a fun story. There was a concert series where Anant Lal and Daya Shankar, they came to play concerts in Denmark. And they stayed with my parents' house, and it was very cozy. Everybody had a good time. They also cooked, And my mother, she said that it took 3 years, 3 weeks for the house to sort of smell like it used to. Because they brought their own spices, a whole bag of spices. I think it was some special Benares mixture.
क्या अच्छा लगा इंडियन फूड में क्या अच्छा लगता था लार्स आपको? What did you like? What did you enjoy eating in India?
Everything.
Except for the pollution.
Well, that's a different story.
Every country has its plus, minus, whatever. Okay. So before we close with the show, one final piece can we have for the viewers?
I'm not quite sure what we could do.
Maybe Lars, you and the if the drummer is there.
Yeah, Jonas is there.
So only you two can play something.
Okay, we can play something duo.
Yeah.
Yes. We'd like to play a really jazzy tune. This is the melody composed by Duke Ellington, one of the true great artists in jazz. He wrote a ballad called In a Sentimental Mood. So it's just gonna be a simple little melody.
Beautiful. बहुत सुंदर.
Okay.
And
Thank you
Sanjeev,
so much.
you also can come in and be a part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. You are able to hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. So I would like to thank you, Sanjeev ji.
Thank you very much.
Lars and Jonas, and also Thor, who has left, and the entire viewers who have been enjoying and watching, and Bo, of course, from the studio from where it is being coordinated in Copenhagen. Thank you, Bo, and thank you all the artists. Thank you to the concept partners also, Danish Culture Institute, Lions Club International, District 322E, and also JMB Global Foundation for promoting art, culture, and promoting the show. So,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lars. Anything that you want to tell the viewers about music? Anything that we are left with?
Well, I hope we can meet live
soon.
Actually, the music was awesome because the viewers are also writing that it is the best show today. And of course, that we were talking about, we can bring that soon again. And Dinesh Vaidya writes also, best show today. Sound was crystal clear and it was awesome. Thank you, National Khabar. More power. So the credit goes to Lars for arranging and managing everything so beautifully.
Okay.
And Sanjeev ji, of course, unke bina kuch nahi ho sakta tha. So Sanjeev ji, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Lars, namaste.
Namaste. फिर मिलेंगे.
फिर मिलेंगे. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, दर्शकों से कहना चाहूंगी कि उम्मीद करती हूँ कि आज का ये कार्यक्रम आपने एंजॉय किया और वर्ल्ड म्यूजिक डे पे हमारी ये कोशिश थी कि आपके लिए हम अलग अलग जॉनर के म्यूजिक को एक साथ कोलैबोरेट करके प्रेजेंट कर सकें। तो ये वर्ल्ड म्यूजिक का प्रेजेंटेशन आपके लिए आज था और फिर कल मिलूंगी आपसे 7 बजे शाम को। अभी दीजिए इजाजत। नमस्कार।